What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Today, we've arrived at our last sign in the Mars series. And those of you who know, the last sign in the zodiac is none other than Pisces. So, what is Mars? Mars is our willpower. Mars is our energy. Our passion. We take our energy and put them towards the things we're passionate about. It's our sex drive. It's our ambition, our force, all of that good stuff. Pisces. Pisces is a sign of spirituality, the sign of psychic ability, healing ability, imagination, isolation. All right? And it's, you know, those of you who have Mars in the 12th could watch this as well because it's very similar. Okay? Now, first thing you need to know about Pisces is that Pisces deals with extremes. All right? Always keep that symbol, the Pisces symbol, in your mind because it represents two fish going in opposite directions, yet connected together. All right? Now, when when Pisces and when planets come into Pisces, especially me being a 12th houser, it opens up my understanding of karma. All right, and I didn't touch on karma a lot like during these other signs, but a lot of astrology is comprised off of karma, and it's my personal belief that those of you who were born with your Mars in Pisces or any other planets in Pisces, it shows very much lots of incarnations wrapped up in activities concerning Pisces. Now, keep in mind, I just said Pisces deals with extremes. So you could have been extremely spiritual or extremely atheist. You could have been, a sober person or a friggin' addict. And now you're hearing these waters, the deepest waters of understanding. And with Pisces here, it's an advantage because it's all the powers that you need in this expression. So, how do we work with this Mars and Pisces? So, people with Mars and Pisces, they need a distinct outlet for this energy. The energy is going to force a person to isolate themselves a bit or really enjoy doing certain activities alone. It is because through doing these activities alone, it can be anything, all right? Building your own business, working out alone, okay? Creating art alone. You discover your inner capabilities, what you are truly capable of, and you catch the flow of energy residing within. Okay? Now, we can talk. So, I give you an example. Bam! Perfect example. Alright? So, we got one kid with Mars and Pisces. Let's say this kid with Mars and Pisces was born to a parent who's a teacher and a parent who's an artist. So, and he has both of them in his life, right? So, there's already a natural inclination to, imaginative things or creative hobbies. But now the parents, let's say they influence this, all right? This enhances or this really develops the talent that's there. Now, cool thing about this is that now we start to really pay attention towards the health in astrology, right? So we know that this person is a Mars in Pisces. So a lot of the energy is in the feet. All right, a lot of that hidden talent is in the feet. Now, if Mercury is here with Mars and it's conjunct, all right, that's adding flexibility and versatility towards one's ability. Now, if this was in Gemini, this would be occurring with the hands. All right, so understanding where this flow of energy is at. Now, this same kid, he has his parents cultivated. He now knows how to express this energy that is calling for release, and he releases it through his art, and they'll find other ways to release it. Same can go for the person born into a family of yogis or spiritualists. People, you'll notice that with people in Mars and Pisces, the family dynamic has a huge, and the aspects to the Mars shows exactly how the person is taught, and has a huge impact in how they know how to use their energy. So on the next example, we have another kid born with Mars and Pisces, but he has no structure, no family structure. Parents aren't telling him what to do and things like that. He's being raised by the neighborhood, right? Pisces is a sign of extremes. So if if you're taught to develop your energy a certain way and apply it a certain way, you will do that. If no one teaches you that, then the energy still needs some way to be released. So then in the second example, this kid, one, uses wisdom and uses its own wisdom to obtain certain things, and ultimately just becomes non-spiritual, right? Also can fall into addiction very easily. You can see people with this Mars fall into addiction because Mars wants to escape. And like I said, it needs to be grounded here and it needs a direction. Okay? So, if you have Mars in Pisces, you should be concerned with cultivating your energy through the mind, the body, and the spirit. All right? And this is just my personal opinion. I think a person with Mars and Pisces, for their spirit, is best that they attune to some type of spiritual system. All right? Whether that be religious or not. Because what that religious system or spiritual system is going to do is going to integrate itself into the person's everyday life, and it is going to give them that direction. All right, body wise, we need someone with this position to take up yoga, martial arts. Okay, it can be something even like something artistic, but at the same time like tattooing. There we go. I was looking for it. It can be tattooing, right? You People with Mars and Pisces or Pisces planets, you'll see that they take that artistic ability and they put it towards tattoos and stuff, either making the tattoos or getting tattoos, right? So physical activity where you're learning to ground the energy in that way. So I'm giving you a way to ground it spiritually. I'm giving a way to ground the energy um, physically, and of course mentally. How are you going to ground this energy? Meditation. Meditation. Also, this comes back to the art, whether it be poetry, okay? The inclination for artistic expression is there. It is up to that person to take advantage of it, use it. All right? So we got 3 ways to work with Mars here in the mind, body, and spirit. That's how it wants to work in Pisces. Now, speaking of the extremes. So what you'll see a lot of times is that once Mars in Pisces finds their niche, what works for them. They become untouchable in a way because astrally now they're they're moving. They're moving. On the astral planes, Mars is setting up what it needs to set up, okay, for itself to continue thriving. Now, on the flip side of this Mars can become way too in love with isolation. And then this is how we get that homeless person. Someone who doesn't value putting their energy into accumulating material wealth because they have that understanding of how to do it. All right? They know, okay, if I do this, I can become pretty wealthy, but Mars doesn't see any may not see any uh real spiritual validation in that. This is why we have to consider the whole dynamics of the chart. And always, as I've been telling you this whole series, we pay attention to the Sun and Venus. Sun represents our true individuality and talents. Venus represents what we love to do. And Mars will be the energy and passion behind all of that. All right? So, with this Mars, you're not going to be in it for how much wealth you can amass. You're going to be in it for the spiritual improvements that it can have upon oneself. Ultimately, this Mars wants to be at peace. It wants to know how to, since it's in water, it wants to really, the deepest waters, it wants to know how it can shape shift in and out of that. So this Mars also needs to find the balance between isolation and the real world. All right, that 12th house and that 6th house. Now, since this is Mars in Pisces and not just Mars in the 12th house, whatever house this is in, you're going to have this detached quality to it. Unless Jupiter or Neptune, if you use, is well placed, okay, you're going to have this really detached attitude. So if you get now, Mars, don't get me wrong, Mars in the 10th house is money. But if we get Mars and Pisces in the 10th house, we can, and especially under bad aspects, we can see someone who's not wealthy. They're the opposite of that. They're struggling. Okay? Now, last thing to keep in mind with this. Sex wise, right? This Mars needs more than any other Mars. This Mars needs romance. This Mars needs a real intense connection in love. All right? And it needs to really be able to be creative and imaginative. So these are your people, who are very into role playing and dressing up and things like that, and screwing outdoors, things like spontaneous imaginative stuff. Okay, this Mars lives for it. It's quite romantic. And my personal advice, okay, if you have this Mars, or if you have any Pisces planet and a partner, seek someone with some type of air. Not air, sorry, earth. Seek someone with some type of earth, because that earth is going to stabilize you and keep you grounded here in reality. Something Mars and Pisces, is a natural pull. All right? And one more thing. One more thing. Mars has to be very careful of wasting energy here. Okay? Addiction, sex, and things like that, excessively, when done out of balance and moderation, it drains these people more than others. So, yeah, I always say with Mars and Pisces, stay away from the drugs, because I don't think it's it just doesn't work with your nature. I think this Mars wants to be sober and wants to be, disciplined, but through spiritual kind of way. All right. So guys, this is my interpretation of Mars and Pisces. This was a dope series to do. I learned a lot. I hope you guys learned a lot. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. Hit my email. If you have any other questions. Until next time, peace.